Good morning, dear students. We will start with the applications of arithmetic progression. In the video given along with this message, you must have seen question number 1, which was already discussed yesterday, Sanika's sum, and question number 3 about Sachin investing money in the National Savings Certificate. And also in the video you have question number 6, that is the tree plantation program. So we need to do now question number 4 and question number 5 from exercise 3.4, and we'll be solving some problem set sums also today. Now exercise 3.4 question number 6, which you did the last sum in the video, was about tree plantation in a triangular field. Question number 4 is also on the similar lines. A triangular kind of auditorium is there, or you can say the sitting arrangement in the auditorium is, there are total 27 rows like this. In the first row 20 seats are there, in the second row 22 seats are there, in the third row 24 seats, and so on. So in this manner there are total 27 rows, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, till 27 rows. Now you have to find out that there will be how many seats in the 15th row, and also you have to find out the total seats in the auditorium. Total how much is the sitting arrangement in the auditorium. That means we have to find out S27 and T15. So let's start with the sum. The first row is having 20 seats. That means the first term will be 20, second term 22, third term 24, and so on. Now if you'll see, the arithmetic progression goes like this: 20, 22, 24, 26, and so on. If you'll observe, the first term is 20 and the common difference is 2 over here. Now using the formula of Tn, we can write down T15. T15 is A plus 14D. That is equal to A is 20 plus 14 into D is 2. That is 20 plus 28. 20 plus 28 gives you the answer 48. That means in 15th row there are total 48 seats. Now let's find the number of seats, the total seats in the auditorium. So we use the formula of Sn. Sn formula is n upon 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So we have S27. Why? Because there are 27 rows in the auditorium. So S27 will be 27 upon 2, 2 into 20 plus 27 minus 1 into 2. That is 27 upon 2, 40 plus 26 into 2. 27 upon 2, 40 plus 52. 27 upon 2 into 92. We cancel 2 and 92, we get 27 into 46. Now you need to multiply 27 into 46, which will give you the answer for total number of seats. Let's multiply 27 and 46 in the working column. 7 6 are 42, 7 4 are 28, 28 and 4 is 32, 2 6 are 12, 2 4s are 8 plus 1 9. So this will be 2, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. So total there are 1242 seats. 1242 seats in the auditorium. Now let's go to question number 5. Question number 5 says that the Kargil's temperature was recorded for a week from Monday to Saturday. Kargil's temperature was recorded from Monday to Saturday, and the temperatures were in AP, in arithmetic progression. So we call the Monday's temperature as T1, which can be also called as A. Tuesday's temperature as T2, Wednesday's temperature T3, Thursday's temperature T4, Friday's temperature T5, Saturday's temperature T6. And then it is given in Wednesday's temperature is given minus 30 degrees Celsius. Now the relations which are given over here is that the Monday's temperature, in the textbook if you'll read, you'll see that the sum of temperatures of Monday and Saturday is 5 more than sum of temperature of Tuesday and Saturday. So Monday and Saturday total when you do, it is 5 more. 5 more means 5 plus. total of Tuesdays and Saturdays timetable, T2 plus T6. So you have T1 as A plus T6 is A plus 5D equal to 5 plus T2 is A plus 1D plus T6 is A plus 5D. A plus A will become 2A plus 5D is equal to 5, and this A and this A added will give you 2A, 1D and 5D will give you 6D. So 2A plus 5D is equal to 5 plus 2A plus 6D. Now let's take all the 2A's on one side and all the D's on one side. So this is 2A and 5D already on the other side. This 2A comes on the other side minus 2A. This 6D comes on the other side minus 6D equal to 5. So minus 2A plus 2A cancel. Minus 6D plus 5D will give you minus 1D equal to 5. So D will be minus 5 degrees Celsius. That means the difference between the temperature each will be of 5 degrees Celsius. Now next, it is given that Wednesday's temperature is minus 30 degrees Celsius. Wednesday's temperature is minus 30 and Wednesday is the third term, T3. So formula for T3 is A plus 2D equal to minus 30. So it will be A plus 2 into, we know the value of D, that is minus 5 equal to minus 30. So it will be A minus 10 equal to minus 30. A will be minus 30, minus 10 goes on the other side, becomes plus 10. So A will be minus 20 degrees Celsius. A means the first term means the Monday's temperature. So Monday's temperature is minus 20. Tuesday's temperature you have to keep on minusing 5 now. For Tuesday's temperature, minus 5 will become minus 20, minus 5 will become minus 25. Wednesday's temperature will be minus 25, minus 5 will become minus 30. Thursday's temperature will be minus 30, minus 5 will become minus 35. Friday's temperature will be minus 35, minus 5 will become 40. Saturday's temperature will be minus 40, minus 5 will be minus 45. So this is how you will get the temperature of the remaining days. Okay, so the temperature of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is already given, then Thursday, Friday and Saturday can be calculated in this manner. Now question number 6, that is the tree plantation sum, is already done in the video. We move ahead with the problem set sums now. Now children, in the problem set sums you have MCQ sums, that is multiple choice questions. Always practice multiple choice questions, because in the last years, in the children those who appear 10th standard this year, the evaluation pattern was completely changed. It was told that the MCQs will be strictly coming from the textbooks. So you need to learn all the MCQs from the textbook only, multiple choice questions. Then we have question number, problem sets is having MCQ questions and some basic questions on page 79 which you can do on your own. Then on page number 80 there are some other sums which are on a higher level of difficulty. If you will see, question number 11, 12 and 13 are star marked. So we'll try today question number 9, 10, 11 and 12. Question number 13 is on similar lines with question number 12. So if you get question number 12 nicely, you will be able to try, or you might give an attempt or try for question number 13 on your own. Question number 14 is activity based, which you need to solve on your own. So we'll do now question number 9, 10, 11 and 12. So let's start with question number 9. If you're having textbooks with you, read question number 9. Question number 9 says, divide 207 in 3 parts. You have to divide the number 207 in 3 parts such that those 3 numbers are in AP. Those 3 numbers should be in AP and the product of the 2 smaller parts should be 4623. Now since they are telling us to divide 203 in 3 parts, let's call those 207 division in 3 parts as T1, T2, T3, because they are saying it should be in AP. So we'll call them T1, T2, T3. T1 will also be called as A. Now it is said that 207 is divided in 3 parts. That means addition of T1, T2, T3 should be 207. Now the second condition says that the smaller ones, the 2 smaller ones, when you multiply, you get the answer 4623. So the smaller ones are T1 and T2. So I multiply T1 and T2, we get 4623. Now T1 means the first term and T2 is the second term, that is A plus D. So we have A into A plus D as 4623. Whereas the first condition, which is T1 plus T2 plus T3 equal to T07, gives us T1 is A, T2 is A plus D, T3 is A plus 2D equal to 207. A plus A gives you 3A and D plus 2D gives you 3D equal to 207. So 3, remove common, 3 will come out common from here. Only A plus D will remain, and that 3 will go on the other side and get divided. 207 upon 3. So A plus D is equal to 69. This will be star step. Now this A plus D we are going to substitute in this step, which we solved here. A into A plus D equal to 4623. So this A plus D will vanish. It will go from here and you will get 69 over here. A into 69 equal to 4623. So A will be 4623 upon 69. When you cancel with the table of 3, if you will observe, both the numbers are going in the table of 3. So when you cancel with the table of 3, this will be 23 and this will be 1541. Again you cancel with table of 23. 23 is a prime number. So 23 ones are 23 and 23 67s are 1541. So you get the answer of A as 67. Now this A we are going to further move it to find the 3 sections of 207. They said to divide 207 in 3 parts. And what were those 3 parts? Those 3 parts were A plus D and A plus 2D. So the first number is 67. The next number is 69 from the star step. This you will get from the star step, 69. So if you will observe, they have said that it is in AP. So if here the difference is 2, that means here also the difference will be 2. So you can guess the next number 71. Or if it is difficult to see, then you can guess it in this way, that the total of 3 numbers is 207. So if you want to find the third one, you should minus these 2 from 207. Whatever number is left will be the third one. So 71 will be the third number. So this is the partition of number 207. That means 207 you have divided in these 3 parts, and these 3 numbers are in AP with the conditions being fulfilled. Okay. Now question number 10, if you will observe, in question number 10 the sum says that there are total 37 terms in the AP, 37 terms, and the exact center 3 terms. Now center 3 terms, how to find out? 37 if you divide by 2, you get the answer 18. 37 doesn't go in the table of 2. You get 18 and you get a remainder 1. So 37 center point is 18. So if you will observe, the 19th term exactly will be in the center with 18 terms on this side and 18 terms on this side. So these 18 terms will become 36, and the 19th term added will become 37 terms. So this is the center term of 37th terms, 19th term. So further they have said that in the center the 3 terms total is 225. So in the center we have T19, on the left of T19 is T18, on the right of T19 is T20. So the total of these 3 is given 225. Exact center 3 terms. Total is 225. And the second condition which they gave is the last 3 terms. Those who are in the last. Who's in the last? There are total 37 terms, right? So 37 is in the last. And the last 3 terms will be 36th and the 35th. 35, 36, 37. These 3 will be in the last. So these last 3 terms total is 429. So this is the first condition. This is the second condition. Now we have to solve these 2 conditions and get the AP. Okay. So let's start with the first condition. T19, T18, T19, T20. Total is 225. Let's solve it. T18 is A plus 17D, T19 is A plus 18D, T20 is A plus 19D equal to 225. A plus A is 3A, 17 plus 18 plus 19 is 54. So 3a plus 54d equal to 225. 3 common, a plus 18d equal to 225. A plus 18d is equal to 225 upon 3. A plus 18d equal to 75. Similarly this step, T35 is a plus 34d. T36 is a plus 35d. T37 is a plus 36d equal to 429. Now a plus a will become 3a. 34, 35, 36 will become 105d equal to 429. Now 3 will come out common from here. In the bracket it will be a plus 35d equal to 429. 3 will go on the other side. A plus 35d equal to 429 upon 3. A plus 35d equal to 143. 429 goes in the table of 3, so you get 143. So here we have two equations. Now we need to solve these two equations simultaneously. We have learned how to do simultaneous equations in chapter 1. So let's solve them simultaneously. So write equation number 1 and equation number 2 and solve them simultaneously. So here we have equation number 2, a plus 35d equal to 143. Equation number 1, a plus 18d equal to 75. Change the signs, a and a cancel. 35 minus 18 you get 17d. 143 minus 75 you get 68. D is 68 upon 17. D answer is 4. Now substitute d equal to 4 in equation 1. This is equation 1. A plus 18d equal to 75. A plus 18 into 4 equal to 75. A plus 72 equal to 75. A will be 75 minus 72. This 72 goes on the other side, becomes minus. A answer is 3. That means the first term will be 3 and the common difference will be 4. You have to add on 4 every time. So now the AP will start. AP is 3, 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 4, 11, 11 plus 4, 15, 15 plus 4, 19, 19 plus 4 and so on. This will be the required AP. They are telling you to write down the AP. This will be the required AP. Okay. Now let's go to question number 11 and question number 12. Now question number 11 and question number 12 is higher order thinking sum. Higher order thinking means these are not obvious sums directly from the formula. You need to prove, you need to solve. These are higher order thinking sums, and higher order thinking sums usually come for 4 marks in board exam. Okay, so question number 11 says that in a first term, the first term of an AP is given A, the second term of an AP is given B, and the last term of the AP is given C. They have not told us how many terms are there in between. We know nothing about the number of terms. We know only the first term, we know only the second term, we know only the last term. And we have to prove that the total of all these terms is A plus C, B plus C minus 2A upon 2B minus A. This is what we have to prove. This is show that. Okay. Now let's start with the sum. First thing, first term is given A and common difference will be B minus A. How do we find common difference? We subtract the next term with the previous term. So common difference will be B minus A. Okay. Now then we have Sn formulas. Sn we have learned two formulas. One formula is n upon 2 T1 plus Tn. Other formula is n upon 2 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Now the question arises is which formula to use over here. Now remember children, we know nothing about n. N is a total question mark for us. So we need not handle n. We need to remove n from the expression. So this first equation, if you will see, n upon 2 T1 plus Tn, this n I don't want. So what I will do is I will write Sn for now with n. Sn is equal to n upon 2. T1 means the first term is A plus Tn means the last term is C. So this will be equation number 1. Now the second formula also I will try to write it. Sn is equal to n upon 2, 2a plus n into, now what I did over here, this d I multiplied inside, n into d and d into 1. Okay, so this will be nd minus d, that is n upon 2, 2a. 2a means the first term, which is a here itself, plus n d, common difference is b minus a, minus again d, b minus a. So this is equation number 2. So this is also Sn, this one is also Sn, both are Sn. So we can equate them. If LHS is same, then RHS also should be same. This is Sn, this is Sn. So RHS also will be same. So we will equate equation 1 and 2. If you want, you can write equate equation 1 and 2. So equation 1 is n upon 2 a plus c, equal to equation 2 is n upon 2 2a plus n into b minus a. Now open the bracket, minus b minus minus plus a will become. Okay. Now this will be n upon 2 cancels because it is on both sides. So when this n will go over here, n will be divided and n will get cancelled. Similarly 2 also will get cancelled. So you will have n upon 2 cancel. A plus c will be left, and here 2a plus n b minus a minus b plus a will be left. So we have this step. Understood till here? Now we'll go ahead with the remaining proof. Now the same a plus c, I am writing it on the next page. See, now on the next page we have a plus c, 2a is written here, then n b minus a is shifted behind here, n b minus a, and this minus b plus a is shifted further, minus b plus a plus c equal to 2a plus a will become 3a, this minus b plus n b minus a as it is, a plus c. Now this 3a will go on the other side, will become minus 3a, this b will go on the other side, will become plus b, equal to n b minus a will remain as it is. Now a and 3a, this is a, this is 3a, will become minus 2a, and b plus c will remain as it is equal to n b minus a. So we have b plus c minus 2a, b minus a comes down equal to n. So in this way we get the value of n. N we were not knowing what it is, so we have tried our best to get the value of n. N value is b plus c minus 2a upon b minus a is equal to n. Now the formula of Sn, which we have learned and which we have used over here, we had two formulas of Sn, that is T1 plus Tn, and this formula also. The first formula we got the answer, Sn is equal to n upon 2 a plus c. So I will use this formula now. Sn is equal to n upon 2 a plus c. Let's write it down over here. Sn is equal to n upon 2 a plus c. So this will be Sn is equal to n upon 2 a plus c, which is equal to n. Answer we know what is now n. This full thing is n. So this full term comes over here. See, b plus c minus 2a upon b minus a. And this 2 is from the formula, this 2 here. And this a plus c is from here. So this full n we removed and we replaced it with b plus c minus 2a upon b minus a. And these two remaining things are in the formula. And if you'll observe, this is what we were supposed to prove. Sn is so and so. If you'll observe in the show that statement, see, in the show that statement, this is the thing which we wanted, which we have already proved here. See, it is proved. So we write hence proved. Okay. Now let's go for the last sum for today. The last sum for today again is very challenging. If you pay attention properly, you might understand this sum. Okay. Again, for the average children who find this sums, question number 12 and 11 difficult, don't go for this sums. Do the normal sums, the exercise sums. Problem set sums should be left in the last. When you are very confident with the exercise sums, then you should go for the problem set sums. Now, question number 12 says that the sum of p terms is equal to sum of q terms. and you have to show that the sum of p plus q terms is 0, where p is not equal to q. Okay, now if you'll observe children, sum of p terms is equal to sum of q terms. Sn formula we are using here. Sn formula says n upon 2 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So Sp will be p upon 2 2a plus p minus 1 into d. Similarly Sq will be q upon 2 2a plus q minus 1 into d. So these are the two LHS and RHS. We need to solve them and we need to show that S of p plus q is equal to 0. Now what will be S of p plus q? Again the same formula, Sn formula. Sn was n upon 2. So Sp plus q will be p plus q upon 2. 2a plus n minus 1 was there in the bracket. So here it will be p plus q minus 1 in the bracket. D equal to 0. Okay. So this is what we have to show. This full thing. We have to show this. Now let's start with the given statement. Let's come back to the given statement. P upon 2, 2a, p upon 2 multiplied with the second term p minus 1d. Similarly q upon 2 multiply with 2a and q upon 2 multiplied with the second term q minus 1d. So this will become p upon 2 into 2a minus this 2a wala term will go on the LHS. It will come here. So it will be minus q upon 2 2a. This p upon 2 p minus 1d is written here and this q upon 2 term will come on the LHS. It will come on this side. So it will become minus q upon 2 q minus 1d. So what remains on the RHS if both the terms are gone here? Then nothing remains. That means 0 equal to 0. Now what we will do is we will remove 2a common from here. They both are having 2a. So we remove 2a common. So 2a comes out common and also 2 is common in the denominator. So 2 also comes out common. In the bracket we have p minus q left. So we have p minus q. Similarly from the next two terms we have d upon 2 common. So d upon 2 comes out. In the bracket we have p minus 1 and q minus 1. RHS will remain 0. Now here 2 and 2 cancel, a remains p minus q plus d upon 2. This we multiply now. P is a p square, p 1 is a p. And minus q is a q square, minus plus q 1 is a q equal to 0. This is a p minus q plus d upon 2. This will become p square minus q square. This q square I am writing here. And this minus p I am writing here. Okay, p square minus q square. And this minus p and this q I am writing here. I am removing the minus sign common. So inside the bracket you will have p minus q. This was plus. Inside plus there are two minus signs. So minus sign common means inside minus remains p minus q. Now a p minus q plus d upon 2. P square minus q square formula will be according to the third identity which we have learned in 7th standard, a square minus b square. The formula becomes a plus b a minus b. So here we have p plus q p minus q minus in bracket p minus q equal to 0. So a p minus q plus d upon 2. P minus q and p minus q are common here and here. So p minus q comes out and inside the bracket you have p plus q minus 1 equal to 0. Now after this we have p minus q in the first term, p minus q in the second term. So I remove p minus q also common. See, p minus q also comes out common. So here we are left with a, which I write here, and here we are left with d upon 2, which is written here, and the bracket p plus q minus 1, that is also written here, equal to 0. Now in the question it is given that p is not equal to q. So if p is not equal to q, that means p minus p also will not be 0. We know that 3 minus 3 is 0, 4 minus 4 is 0, 5 minus 5 is 0. But if P and Q are not same, then how P minus Q will be 0? So P minus Q is not 0. So if it is not 0, we can divide them. So we are dividing P minus Q on both the side. Here, divide here, and divide here also on both sides. So P minus Q and P minus Q cancel, and 0 divided by any number is 0 itself. So this full term vanishes. You are left with only A d upon 2 P plus Q minus 1, and this side you are left with 0. This 2 goes up over here, cross multiplies. So this will become 2A plus P plus Q minus 1 D I am writing behind, and when you cross multiply you get the 2 also down. But this 2 is of no use because this 2 will go with 0, it will become 0 only. So we have 2A plus P plus Q minus 1 into D equal to 0. Now after getting this term, if you'll observe, children, whenever you have proof that sums, you should always keep in mind what you have to show. You keep solving the steps and you forget what you have to show, then you will get lost in your proof that sum. So you always remember what you have to show in the proof that sum. So if you'll observe, in the show that sum, in the proof that step, you were having this to prove. And we have already proved that this term is equal to 0. If you'll observe, we got this 2A plus P plus Q minus 1 into D equal to 0. Okay, so if this full bracket is 0, you multiply with any number, you will get again 0. We know 0 multiplied with any number is 0. We know that 0 multiplied with any number is 0. So this full bracket multiplied with P plus Q upon 2 will again give you 0. And this is what we are supposed to prove, that SP plus Q is 0. So we got, hence proved, SP plus Q is 0. Okay. Now again I am repeating, children, if you did not understand question number 11 and question number 12, please do not take any unnecessary stress. Practice only the exercise sums. Problem set sums are for your extra work. Question number 9, 10, 11 and 12 which I explained are only for the children who are scoring or who want meritorious marks for their board exam. The other children need to practice only the exercise sums. Okay, for today we'll stop over here. We'll see you in the next week. Next Friday, most probably we might start with the new lesson. Till then, full week you practice arithmetic progression. Okay, see you and God bless you.